Hello and welcome to the Projector Project. My name is Diederik. I'm a 5'1" splenic projector with the channel 4426 defined. The rest is undefined here on my journey of deconditioning. And I welcome you to a beautiful Alaska. I've been fortunate enough to be here in Alaska visiting the Soul Tribe. The 4426 is a tribal energy, and I feel that very strongly. For those of you that have been following this channel for a while, you know I always talk about my soul tribe, my soulmates, clients, my soulmates, just in general. You know, I go deep. That's what us projectors do. So they say if you want to have a deep conversation, get yourself a projector. We don't do small talk. And I'm not here to do small talk with you as we talk about relationships. As a projector, let me share with you some of the findings that I have, put into my belt, the wisdom I've gained from experience, and curious to hear what all of you have been experiencing in relationship as a projector, or potentially even being in a relationship with a projector or another projector, meaning projector, or you as a generator, manifester, or reflector with a projector. So let's dive in. So a couple of things I wanted to talk about. One is something that I have spoken on in other videos, and that's recognition. When we're not being fully recognized, 100% recognized for who we truly are, it's exhausting. It just leads to bitterness. I've covered this in another video. It's the author of the Gene Keys. If some of you are familiar with that, it goes very well with any kind of work you're looking to do on the human design system or with the human design system and experimentation. I've been experimenting for 7 years now, 7.5, so I'm quite deep in my experimentation already. Gene Keys is a really beautiful guide to accompany with the human design on your journey. But back to what I was saying, Richard Rudd says he worked on the human design system as well and was an instructor. And one of the things he says, if there's one thing you need to know as a projector, is that he says, compromise is the death of the projector, because energetically we are meant to be deeply recognized and seen by the people that are in key positions in our life, meaning our partners, romantic partners, our business partners, our partner, our friends, the people we spend a lot of our time with, our manager, that's a big one. If we don't have 100% recognition, and he says 99% won't do, even if we get an invitation, we got to smile and walk away. Smile sweetly and walk away, I think is the exact wording of what he shared. And I'm seeing that very strongly now as I'm exploring relationship and partnership now. With the manifesting generator, and comparing that to a short but powerful interaction I had with a generator last year, and then also my 6.5-year relationship with my previous partner in also a generator. So as a projector, I seem to pick the generators, and in many ways it makes sense. Because that's one of the things too that Richard Rudd talks about. He says it is all about that projector-generator match in many ways. You know, there's a reason why generators make up, about 67% of the population, manifesting generators and generators. And projectors make up about 20 to 21%, 22%, depending on the statistics. So let's just say together, that's 90%. So there's a reason why it's like that. And I'm very blessed for the 6.5-year relationship with my generator partner. I learned a lot, and it's prepared me to be in the type of relationship I want to be in. And to know when it feels right and when it doesn't. And I don't know if I was ever truly seen in that relationship. I think sometimes that can be difficult to answer, in the sense that, it might have been at the beginning, but we're always evolving. I don't know about you guys, but I have changed so much. Definitely in the last 7.5 years. even in, guys, even in a year, like I was in a very different place a year ago, and I would say even a month ago. And I find that people in the Soul Tribe are saying the same thing. We're all dealing with similar themes, and one of them is the, I was going to say alarming rate of transformation that's taking place on all fronts. You know, career and business and calling, personal life, health, and of course in relationship. That's a huge one, right? So being deeply recognized as a projector, there's no compromise because it's exhausting. And one of the things I found in relationship with my 6.5-year partner is that I was always exhausted. And again, it's nothing personal, you know. There were, in many ways, I was deeply supported. It's just, you know, it might have been a 99% recognition type of thing, but it's true. It needs to be 100. And the reason I'm saying that now is because I've had interactions with the other generator as well, and another now the manifesting generator, and it's different. Especially now with the manifesting generator, I feel a 100% recognition, and it's almost it's a spiritual thing. It's deeply spiritual because you know you're deeply seen. I can't. There's both a deep safety in that and love, and like a deep, heartfelt embrace. It's also quite intimidating because you're like, okay, well now this person's here, and not saying it's just a one person that you get the deep recognition from, although Richard Rudd also shares that the projector life really comes down to one or two or several key invitations that will lead to life transforming experiences. I think by that he means, like, you know, that business opportunity, to that invitation for a business opportunity that just changes life, and you can point back to it was that invitation, or a relationship, or being in a new place. You know, it could be all those things. But yeah, what I found, guys, is that recognition is just so important. I don't, you know, no matter what happens, as I explore relationships, I don't want to settle. I don't want to compromise on that anymore. It's exhausting. I've had heart issues. Not heart issues. I did not have heart issues, but I could feel it in my heart. I could feel how exhausted I was. And I knew it was related to emotion and energetics, because as I changed how I approached things or made changes in my life, it would go away. So it's just a way of my splenic body to communicate with me and be like, hey D, we got to turn left here. You keep turning right, we got to turn left. And then just having the courage to follow it. And one of the things was to leave my previous relationship. Leave it with love and compassion, what I call conscious decoupling or uncoupling, because it's not personal. You know, it's like no one is responsible for my happiness, and no matter what someone else says or does, I'm 100% responsible for the way that I respond. That's on me. That's my freedom too. That's my sovereignty. And so I claimed it all. I was like, you know, this is me, and like, you know, if there are anything unresolved, to just be honest about what is on me and what's not. Which comes back to this, like, being deeply seen and recognized. It's like, okay, well, okay. Now it's like, okay, well, what is it that I'm trying to hide from myself that is now also being seen? Because when someone truly sees you, yeah, it brings everything to the surface. And for us projectors too, you know, like seeing others, especially the generators, and helping them use their energy, and, you know, really guiding them, that's a big thing. And it leads me to the second point. You know, as a projector, being recognized is a big thing. Seeing and recognizing the other is a big thing. And then communication's huge, you know, like being able to be heard as a projector. You know, like we have this innate want, a desire to be heard and to be invited to share, and we don't always get that. And so having that is huge. But just being able to talk about anything, and that goes beyond human design, right? It's just the communication's key. And do you have that environment to be able to say what it is you need to say? And that can be tough sometimes, you know, especially in relationship. You kind of sometimes will spiral around the same thing, but that can also be a sign that there are things in the relationship, aspects of the relationship, that lead to compromise, and it's just not to be compromised. It could just be that. And I find that especially in my previous relationship, the long relationship I was in, there were just things we kept coming back to across the 6 years. We just kept bumping into this because that was just showing that there was a misalignment, and that's okay. But then to recognize the misalignment and know that there are just things that are non-negotiable. Like, this is what I need, and if I don't get that, then that's okay, but then I need to leave the relationship. It can just be that, right? Communication being key. In particular, you know, generators and manifesting generators are designed to respond, so you got to give them something to respond to. And I feel like that's a beautiful thing about the projector-generator relationship, where you can, you know, ask questions, especially to the sacral beings out there, but also those that are manifesting generators or generators that are emotionally defined, have their solar plexus defined. Even for them, you know, there are things that you can set in motion, you know, by asking a yes or no question. That's huge. So with my sacral, you know, in sacral relationship, I can be like, hey, you know, are you hungry? Yes. Do you want to eat something now? No. Do you want to eat in half an hour? Yes. Do you want to eat here? No. Do you want to eat out? Yes. Do you want pizza? No. Do you know where you want to go? No. You know, go through the list. And it really helps because, you know, in the end, generators and manifesting generators are here to do what they love. And so use their generative energy for things that they love. And what I find as a projector, what I end up doing, because I've been in a relationship with generators, is to have them do the things that give them energy. And if there's anything that doesn't, then I'll take that on me typically. And when it's a good match, it's the stuff that I actually enjoy doing. And if I don't enjoy doing them, well, I can either automate or delegate to someone else, or I'm just like, you know what, like, it needs to get done. I'll get it done, and I know that this is me playing my part, my role in the relationship. And so communication is very important for that. And that leads me to the third part, just is playing your role. Like today, that came up. Actually, in the last few days, it's come up. I'm here with a manifesting generator friend of mine. And, you know, we're coordinating, taking care of the house, doing household things, and taking care of people here, and, you know, just doing what we need to do to keep it all running. And, you know, since she's the MG, she just goes. Especially yesterday, we were laughing. It was a real MG day yesterday. She was just pumping it out and doing so much, and I didn't really do much at all, and it made me feel a little awkward, almost. You know, there's this whole thing about the masculine being very, like, active and doing. And in many ways, the generator is more of a there's a lot of masculinity to the generator because it's the doingness, right? Now, there's a very feminine essence of letting things come to you as a generator and then responding. So that's being receptive. So in that sense, that is very feminine. But the action taking and doing is very masculine, broadly speaking. And we all have this dual energy in us, right? But especially as a projector male, it's just like I realized that there's a deconditioning that needs to take place or wants to take place. Or I don't, like, you know, she even said to me, like, D, like, I'm doing this stuff so you can be more in your projectorness. Like, do the things you need to do. Like, I got this. Like, this is easy for me. It doesn't take a lot for me to do this. Whereas for me, it does. And just being okay with that. And she's like, listen, if I need your help, I know where you are, and I know you'll help me, and I know you're always there, and I know you catch the things that I don't like doing, that, especially as a manifesting generator, just feel like it takes me 5 times as much energy to do this one thing, you know, and then I'm there to help her out. And I think that in relationship and partnership, that's very, very important, particularly if you're a projector with another generator or manifesting generator. You know, it's all about, I have 4 categories of things. I call them the fuck yeses. Like, that's when a generator is like, holy shit, yes, I love this. This gives me energy. You know, it could be just like weeding a garden like my friend does. She loves, like, removing weeds from the garden. You know, that's something she loves doing, or cooking. She enjoys doing that. And I'm like, well, go do those things, you know? So what's the fuck yes? And then you have yes, and then no, and fuck no. I was like, well, we definitely don't want you doing fuck no's. So next is the no's. We want to remove that as much as possible too, and we want yeses and fuck yeses. And so I'll ask, like, do you want this? And if there's a hesitation already, well, it's not a fuck yes. So that communication has been very powerful, and also just being asked for me like an open-ended question, which is more of the projectorness, goes for manifestors and reflectors as well. And like that's more like a what or how or why, or not a question that can be answered with a yes or no, basically. Whereas for generators and manifesting generators, that's the case. So they want the yeses or nos as a question. That's where they get the response, right? Like, are you like, what do you want to eat? There's nothing to respond to. That's just a question. Whereas as a projector, that's a great question. So, like, what I'm finding out, my role really is to be more in the beingness. Like, you know, there's this whole thing about we get more done by doing less. That's the projector motto, and that's something to live by. And I have been working with that consciously for the last few years now, and I've seen really great results when I do. It still comes up sometimes. Like I'm like, there's still things that need to get done. But that's why I love being in partnership with someone, especially a generator or a manifesting generator in this case, because it's a beautiful way of supporting each other. And then also for her to be deeply seen by a projector is huge. Like that's a beautiful gift that we give the world. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. That's what's coming through. I've recorded this message a few times, so this is the one I'm going to post. I think for me lately what's been coming up is perfectionism, including in relationship. It's something I've really moved a lot on in my life, about what perfectionism means to me. And yeah, it comes down to how I share things, and sometimes trying to be controlling of how it comes through. So yeah. Alright guys, well, I'm very curious to hear what your take on all of this is, what your experience is around relationship as a projector or with a projector, on the topic of being seen, on the topic of communication, on the topic of playing your role, or what feels right for you, what's in flow for you. You know, in my case, it's just like literally having someone that does basically everything and can do it much faster than I can and much more efficiently than I can, which is also very humbling. Knowing I'm not needed, but my friend made a good point. It's like I don't want to need you. I want to want you, and that's a very different thing. So with that, I leave you, my friends. Greetings from sunny Alaska. We're making the most of these sunny days. The sun does never set here right now. It's kind of crazy. Like, it doesn't even get dark enough for the brightest of stars at night. The sun just kind of sets and it still glows. It sets at like 11:30 right now. So it's been interesting here. With that, I leave you. Much love. Share, comment, subscribe. Curious to hear what your take on all of this is. In the meantime, sending you lots of love. From Alaska.